Hey traders, it's almost midnight on August 11th. Time for a quick update. It's part of an ongoing 3-part weekly market analysis series. I'd like to do part 2 now and then part 3 as early as tomorrow. The first thing I want to bring to your attention is that the NASDAQ 100 did rise as expected. It actually exceeded my expectations. It took out the yellow line and the green line. It actually did what the falling wedge guidelines suggest it should do, and that is to retrace 100% of the wedge. And that's exactly what we got today. And in part 1 of the weekly market analysis, which I published over the weekend, I said that I'm expecting another ABC as the final installment of the sideways counter trend rally. Just like we got here, an A, B, and C. And then what we got afterwards, I discussed that in detail in the last video, we got a 333. And now what we're getting, I believe, is an impulse, a 5-wave move, making this sideways formation an Elliott expanded flat. Elliott expanded flat. So I believe now the next move higher should target this rounding tops rim somewhere in the vicinity of 39.37. Now, if you recall one of the earlier videos I posted to the YouTube channel, I said that this red wave A was going to be retraced by up to 61.8%. Okay, for 3 reasons. Reason 1, 61.8% is the most common retracement level. And then I also said 61.8% coincides with this gray line. Okay, this gray line is the confirmation level that wave A was underway. As soon as we broke under wave Y, we knew that a 333 was unfolding. Okay, but last Monday what we got is just a 50% retracement level. We just got to the 50% line. We didn't get all the way up to the 61.8%. But it's okay because the consolidation, the sideways relief consolidation rally is still ongoing. And so the next target is probably the 61.8%. All right, and reason number 3 is that there was this crab pattern that we identified in mid-May and we played into early or late July. Its PRZ was 39.36 to 39.38. And I said that one of the characteristics of the crab pattern is that once a reversal from the PRZ materializes, at a later time that PRZ gets retested. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're retesting the PRZ. Now, you know, we're still retracing part of red wave A. How far up we're going to get, I have no idea at this point, all right? And there's plenty of room to run, and you've got to go along with it. You cannot fight the trend. The trend right now is up on the short-term time frame. Okay, and who knows, I might end up being proven wrong, thinking that there's still another leg down, but I wholeheartedly believe this, that there's another leg down that has not yet unfolded. So, can I guess at other potential targets? Of course, the immediate target is this 39.36, 39.38 area, but there are also other possibilities. So let me identify a couple of harmonic patterns that might give us a clue as to how far this bounce could go. All right, I hope you like purple. I don't, but it stands out pretty good here. I identified this bearish shark harmonic pattern 0xabc with PRZ ranging from 39.28 to roughly 39.31. We're talking about a 3-point PRZ. It's a reversal zone, meaning once price reaches this area, that area defined by these two purple horizontal lines, then a reversal could materialize. Now notice that this PRZ is just a handful of points below the 61.8% retracement, which coincides with the gray line. Okay, we're talking about the retracement of this wave A, the red wave A. So that's one potential candidate, one potential scenario where price could keep rising, and then this wave 5 will end right where this purple C is, or maybe a little higher near 39.36. That's one possibility. Okay. Now, I didn't see anything on Monday. I didn't see enough, let's put it this way. I didn't see enough on Monday to make me believe that today's high is all she wrote. There wasn't enough information. We did leave a bit of excess on the high end of the range, meaning once we retraced the wedge almost fully, we left a bit of excess because it's normal. People who bought whatever down here or down here, they're going to sell near a prior pivot high. Okay, but there wasn't enough information, though, to convince me that today's high was it. In fact, there's enough information happening overnight, when I look at the futures, to tell me we're going higher. In fact, we're going higher towards 39.28 on the futures contract, which makes it about 39.31 on the cash index. And I'm going to show that in a minute. So that's one potential candidate. Let's look for other possibilities as well. Okay, and here's another possibility. This one is based on the falling wedge guidelines, assuming last Monday's high will be taken out by tomorrow or as early as tomorrow. Then the way to estimate the upside potential or the upside target of this wedge is to calculate the distance from the lowest valley, meaning the lowest low, the third touch on this lower trend line, to the highest peak, meaning last Monday's high. You take this distance and you project it from the breakout point, the point from where price broke out of the wedge. So I'm going to take this arrow, make a copy of it or duplicate of it, and project it from this breakout point. And here's what I get. Okay, the 100% target is about 1955, but according to Bulkowski, he says multiply that by 70%. Call the 70% your target. It's a statistic based on exhaustive research on his part, but the interesting thing is that the 70% is awful close to the PRZ of the shark pattern that I just showed earlier, and also awful close to the gray line. So that's one possibility. And here's the final scenario, one that would threaten this open gap near 39.75. Okay, That's where the gap is, in that vicinity, 39.7561. So once again, in purple, I was able to identify a potential bearish crab, only larger this time than the prior one that I identified in scenario number 1. Go back in the video and look at it, compare it to this one. 0xabc, this time the PRZ is clustered right here between 39.69.87 and 39.73.76. Now, how did I arrive at this PRZ? 88.6% retracement of the 0x leg and the 1.618 extension of the AB leg, and that gives me a pretty tight PRZ, 4 points roughly speaking. All right, so if the market displays exceptional strength, then it's possible we could go as high as this during this counter trend rally, meaning we're going to retrace most of red wave A. Is this going to happen? I don't know. You know, I'm not necessarily overanalyzing it here. I'm just opening doors to possibilities. Okay, I'm looking at all the potential outcomes, because sometimes the most unlikely outcome is the one that you end up with. Again, the market tries or attempts or strives to hurt as many participants as possible. So I still believe that I think we'll just get to 39.36, 39.38, and then a reversal could begin to play out from that area. But in case something else happens, some piece of news that catalyzes a bigger move to the upside, here's one possibility. Now, I'll completely give up on the scenario calling for another down leg, which I wholeheartedly believe should happen, okay, based on my analysis. But I cannot trade my analysis. I've got to trade the price action. If this point, the highest point, the X point, which was 39.89 even, is taken out, forget it. I was wrong in expecting another down leg. All right, let's move on to the S&P 500. So the S&P, I actually had to make a change today. In prior videos, I had wave 3 here or here. I don't recall exactly whether black wave 3 was here. Let's say it was still here. What I said is that there's a counter trend pattern playing out that's going to end somewhere here near in the mid 1930s, and that's going to be the end of wave 4. Now, with today's strong action, I'm no longer comfortable placing black wave 4 up here. So I went back to the chart, I analyzed the later stages of this pattern, and I decided that really wave 4 should be here, and wave 5 should be here to end red wave C. Because here, wave 2 almost retraced 78.6%. I think it was around 75, 76% of wave 1. So wave 2 was pretty deep. And therefore, I cannot accept a black wave 4 above, say, 23.6%. It's got to be shallow. So that's exactly what we got, a 23.6% bounce in black wave 4. And the final wave 5 to complete wave C. So what's next? What's next? One thing I noticed today was I don't know if it's a coincidence or not. Sometimes the market or the crowd is trying to guess, so they drive price up to a certain point. Okay? When I measure the retracement of this entire C wave, I get to 50%, right on the head. Okay, today's high was 1944.90. The 50% retracement is just 8 cents below that. So That was quite amazing. It was revealing, to say the least. Now I'd like to know tomorrow whether 1944.89, today's high, is going to be exceeded or not. When I look at this rise here, this leg up from last Thursday's low, I can count it as A, B, C, X, A, B, and C. So we'll see if that is the case or not. Now, is there a chart pattern that I can point to? And the answer is yes. I'm going to actually do it right in front of you to show you how easy to spot these things. Here's another W, okay? And if you look at the extension of this leg from here to here, extend it out to see where wave 5 ended, and it ended at the 38.2 or the 1.382 extension of this leg. All right, look, let me draw it in front of you. I've done this a million times on my own, but let me show you what I see here. Another shark, another shark. And I promise to draw it in purple. We need it to stand out. Okay. So if this is a shark, what makes a shark a shark? The lower low. The lower low. Okay. Of all the harmonic patterns, the shark is the only one that possesses a lower low. All right, so I'm going to do what? I'd like to change colors just so that it stands out. And I'm going to show you how to calculate the target of a pattern like this. So the labels, now the current labels are for Elliott wave. All right, they have nothing to do with harmonic chart pattern identification. All right, so don't bother with the existing labels. Here's 0, X, and A, B. I'm going to actually record a video next week of all harmonic chart patterns if you're interested. It'll be posted on my website and the YouTube channel. So 0XABC. What is the PRZ? In other words, what's the price objective of this pattern? When will it complete? At what price level or price zone will it complete before potentially reversing course? What you do is you take the 0x leg, and there are two areas. One is the 88.6% retracement of the 0x leg, and the other one is the 113% retracement, meaning you extend the 0x leg up by 13%. These are two potential areas, but they have to cluster nicely and tightly with the AB extension. How much of an extension? 1.618 to 2.23. So let's do it together here. Take this leg, the AB leg, and extend it up to the 1.618 to 2.23. Let me get that. And look here. We got the 1.618. Let me do this in purple. By the way, the 2.23 is way too high. compared to the maximum 113% extension of the 0x. So I'm just going to turn it off. I don't need it. But when you look at the 1.618 to the 1.13 area, that's my PRZ now, okay? The PRZ is this. Guess what? We entered it today. We were inside this area today. Can we reach the top of this area at 1947? Sure we can. We absolutely can. But what are the odds that this will happen? We'll know tomorrow. We'll know tomorrow. On the NASDAQ 100, we know, or we feel, that the odds are in our favor that another new high will be established, a new recovery high. But this doesn't have to happen on the S&P. We might get an equal or lower high on the S&P while the NASDAQ is making a new marginal high. Okay? So that is the immediate target on the S&P 500. If you look at the daily chart of the S&P 500, most people are expecting, where is it? That's the weekly. Let me switch to daily. Most people are looking for it to extend further up to the 50%. I'm sorry, the 50-day moving average, which sort of coincides with the 20 SMA. So 20/50 are right here. Is it possible? You know, I've always used the 15 EMA as my short-term trend indicator. Look how nicely price bounces off of it. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Well, guess what? The same thing on the way down. Okay? Inhale, exhale. That's my short-term trend indicator. We ran into it today and then we retreated. We were as high as 1945 or so, and we closed about 7 or 8 points lower than that. Okay? So, but again, we could go higher. We could, because the 50-day moving average usually acts as a magnet. It's a mean reversion move, okay? And we might shoot up to the upside, might overshoot. Why? Because look, if an ABC ended today, and there's another ABC down the road to reach that 1873 that I thought I had it down right, market proved me completely wrong, right? So I had all that math figured out. It was perfect. 1873 was going to be hit right on the head. Not the case. So far, not the case. Too predictable, I guess. So we got an ABC. Is there going to be another ABC? Okay. So how will we know? We will know soon, actually. We will know soon. And when we do know, I will do a video letting you know how I spotted the start of the next phase down. All right, I'll call it a night, but first, a quick look at the NASDAQ 100 futures contract, what's playing out overnight, what to expect tomorrow, possibly. First, we rallied into point X this morning, pulled back in profit-taking fashion, that's point A, bounced back for the next hour or so, that was point B, and then pulled back into the close, that's point C. Point B retraced 61.8% of the XA leg. Point C retraced 78.6% of the AB leg. These are the two ingredients necessary for either a Gartley or a crab. A Gartley means the pattern will end here at the 78.6% level. I will then put the letter D here, not up here. But if we take out this level, Okay? And then, of course, the high of point X. You're practically guaranteed. There's no guarantee in trading anyways, but the odds heavily favor then that the pattern is a crab targeting 39.28, roughly speaking. Now remember, what was 39.28? We were talking about that earlier with respect to the NASDAQ 100 cash. Okay, how much more upside does it have? And that's a good start right here. Okay, NASDAQ futures contract, again, rallied into point X this morning, pulled back in profit-taking fashion, point A, bounced back 61.8% by 3 o'clock, and then into the close, pulled back 78.6%. That 61.8%, where point B happens to be, makes the overall harmonic pattern either a Gartley or a crab. A Gartley means price will reverse from the 78.6% level. A crab means it's going to take out 78.6% with ease on its way to the prior high, point X. It will then probably spend a little time consolidating here and then resume higher towards 39.28 or so. All right, so we'll trade it accordingly tomorrow in the live trading room. Have a good night.